How do you do now? I think everybody meditates for some time, huh? Nice. Doing it for some time? That's nice. I'm so happy to be here after so many days of wandering in cities. Huh? It's a wonderful place here, and thank you very much, both of you. And it's an ideal place for meditation and improving your spiritual life. Okay, so let me tell you about something. All human beings are constantly searching for something. All human beings. Whether they are religious or they are not religious, whether they are yogis or they are businessmen, they are anybody. Every human being has an aspiration to something. They want to acquire something, to do something. They are not happy with what they have, including yogis. So, what is this that we are searching for? Just look at our lives. When we have something, when we don't have something, we aspire for it. We work very hard. There's nothing wrong, I'm just saying. It's like that. Facts. We work very hard and then we find it. Something. It could be spiritual or it could be material. When we find it, then we are happy for some time. But it doesn't stop there, right? We look for something else. In the same way, with name, fame, position, wealth, everything, we are generally not satisfied with what we have and we're looking for something more. Unfortunately, that which we are looking for never comes to our end. Because all our lives we work thinking, this will give me happiness. After some time, no, maybe this will give me happiness. So, I have acquired it, but I am not happy. A single person thinks, if I have a partner or a wife, I will be very happy. You ask the partners and wives, is there happiness? Some may be happy, some may not be happy. Sometimes it's better to be alone also. But we think that if I have a wife or a husband, then I'll be happy. Or if some people think if I have a guru, I will be happy. So there is this constant search for something which goes on and on till we die. And life is so short, we don't realize it. We think, there is plenty to come, but suddenly it can be snuffed off. Nobody can say. So in the end, you say, okay, now I'm going, now what? Nothing has happened. I may have some children or grandchildren, but and then we write, rest in peace. We don't know whether somebody is resting in peace or not. We like to write the board, rest in peace, because we all want peace, So hopefully this guy, after all this trouble, may be resting in peace. So we write in the graveyard, R.I.P., rest in peace. My Guru Maheshwarnath Babaji, he used to tell me that R.I.P. is not necessarily rest in peace. I said, then what? He said, it means rise if possible. R.I.P. So, no chance. So, that's our situation, finally. One may be anybody, whoever, finished. So, this is our life. We try to acquire and we find, little bit we acquire and then it goes and then we are looking for some more and so on. Life. So, the mind is never at rest or at peace. And the funny thing is, until the mind is at rest, there cannot be peace. This is the whole problem. Yeah, you don't have to be very mystical about it. It's a fact. I mean, really, you see it with your eyes and hear it with your ears. Now, we had a great saint in Banaras. You must have heard of Varanasi? Yeah. Some of you? Varanasi is almost in the middle of India, and there is a very great, very old, I don't know, maybe before civilization, started in other countries. There is an old temple of Shiva there. Shiva is supposed to be the god of destruction, but destruction is so important to creation. First, I destroy my wrong ideas and new ideas are created. So, Shiva is the lord of yogis, and he is also considered a destroyer. But the other meaning of the word Shivam is auspiciousness, happiness, auspiciousness, sacredness. So, both. The people who are devoted to Shiva, they go to the cremation ground and touch the ash there. Put it, you might have seen Ramana Maharshi. Yeah. So, which means here. So, which means what? It is a symbol of Shiva, who finishes everything to ashes, and from there rises the soul. So, Varanasi is this beautiful city where Shiva is the most important temple in India, actually, and it's in the form of a linga. There is no face or no form. It's just it's called a linga. It's just a symbol. Linga also means a symbol in Sanskrit. So there was a saint who used to live there, who was a weaver saint. You know, his life, he earned his living by weaving cloth. He didn't take money from disciples and build ashrams. He only did his weaving, and he lived a simple life. But he was a great saint. He belonged to the community of weavers. In India, there is a big, not now so much, but in those days, there is this caste system. Some people are lower caste, some people are higher caste, you know. So Kabir lived in those days when a weaver was considered to be low, even though he was making clothes for the gods, but he was considered to be low. So he couldn't find a guru. So he went, all Brahmin gurus said, no, we cannot initiate you. You are a... So one day, early morning, he had heard of a very highly evolved big teacher who lived close by and who used to come for a bath in the Ganga river, the Ganges river, every morning. So he thought, if I ask him, he may not give me. So what do I do? So he went and lay down on the steps. If anybody has gone to Banaras, you will see the Ganga, the river Ganges flows, and there are steps. So he just, as if he was sleeping. So this great man, his name was Ramananda. He went into the river, he had a bath, dip, and he was going to do his meditation. He was walking up, his foot hit this guy lying here. He didn't see in the dark. So he saw it and he said, Ram, Ram. And Kabir said, this is my mantra. And he went off. Later on, many years later, somebody said, Kabir claims to be your disciple. He said, yes. So this weaver saint had taught the highest level of Vedanta, the highest teachings in very simple language. Very, very simple. His name was Kabir Das. Kabir Das. So Kabir Das has sung many songs about, even about the Kundalini and the chakra, everything, but in very simple way. So he said that the human life is, in the Himalayas, in the upper Himalayas, there is a kind of deer, small deer. You know what is a deer? Like here we saw in the morning, what are they called? Reindeer. So, but this is a small deer, not reindeer. The reindeer is big. It's a Scandinavian deer. This is a small Indian deer. So it lives in the Himalayas, and it is called a musk deer. Musk. You know what is musk? People spray musk perfumes. I don't, because they have killed most of the deer to take musk. So under the belly of the deer, near this navel, there's a little pouch, small pouch. And every year, in one season, the musk is produced. In Sanskrit, it's called kasturi, and the deer is called the kasturi mriga. So when this happens, when the musk comes, there's beautiful fragrance in the air, lovely fragrance. And the poor deer, you can say DEAR also, the poor deer, not knowing where the smell, this fragrance is coming from, the source, searches for it everywhere. It doesn't know it's coming from under its own belly, looking for it everywhere, and puts its snout into the thorny bushes, bleeds, but doesn't know where it's coming from. Kabir Das said, we human beings generally are like the musk deer. What we seek is inside. We seek for it outside everywhere because we smell some fragrance here and there when it manifests, But then it can't be found outside, it is inside. And if it is not inside, you cannot even find it outside. So, thing is, I'm not saying you should not marry, you should not have children, you should not have houses. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that we should understand that that is not the way to ultimate happiness. If you need peace and tranquility and ultimate happiness, what you need to find is the source of it inside us, in our hearts. Heart is not the organ that pumps blood. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the core of our being. There is the happiness which we are seeking. And when that is found, well, you can function on this earth. I function on this earth. I've been traveling all over the world now and I have no problem. I don't forget my bags. It's not like that. It's that your mind expands. Your mind is expanded so much that it envelops everything. It takes in everything. The birds, the trees, the human beings. There's nothing that is outside this inner being. Because every individual has a spark of that being. Every individual. I am not an exception. Every individual. So my attempt all these years have been, as ordered by my Guru, Babaji, has been go and talk to people and tell them, hey, you have a treasure inside, where are you looking for? And there are ways and means to open it. One way may not suit everybody. I understand. Because if there is something infinite, it cannot be that there is only one way or two ways. There must be many ways to reach the infinite. Then it's not infinite if you have only one way. If I say, oh, this is the only way, then you can't find it. Maybe for you, maybe somebody else will have a different approach to it, right? We cannot say that. But there are innumerable ways. I don't agree with Krishnamurti who said there is no way to the truth. Then what are we doing? I agree with many things, but not that. I like him. I also used to know him. Yeah, he's a wonderful man. But this one, there is no path to truth. No, I don't agree. Then where are we going? There are many paths, not one. Many paths. In fact, in the Rig Veda, there is a saying which 2000 years old. It says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vedanti. There is only one truth, but the wise men call it by different names. So it is there. And to find it, rarely some people find it outside. But mostly we need to go in and find it, and then we find it outside. Maybe there are some gifted individuals who go on to the forest and just everything is finished and they see the reality. Quite possible, but this is very rare. Generally, we need to go in and search for that core of our consciousness, the essence. And then you find it, suddenly you find that it is also outside. It's not only inside, it's inside and outside. Here, you see Ramana Maharshi picture? I believe that in contemporary times, just a few years ago, he was one of the people who actually touched this truth. I believe so. He didn't do any kriya, he didn't do any, but he found it. Gifted individual, born like that. Everybody, okay. What I want to ask you, you will not find a single picture or photograph. Luckily, during his time, there were photographs available. In single picture where his eyes are closed. You show me one. Because for him there is no inside and there is no outside. Both are same. But to find that first you have to go inside. When you touch it, then you see it also outside. In the human being, in the dog, in the bird, in the wind, in the sun, here in the snow. And so this is our whole process of sadhana, to go within and touch the spark in us. Now, it's not only that this tradition has come from India, please. Yes, it is in India, it is ancient, I understand, but there have been many traditions which have touched and talked about this. But people forget it because they want more organization than reality. That's the problem. There was one yogi, we think he was a yogi. I don't know what you think. We think he was a yogi who didn't live in India. Well, he came, and they say he came to India later, but I don't know. But he walked. He didn't have even a bicycle. Those days there were no bicycles. He didn't get onto a horse. He walked, and he taught. He walked and he taught in Jerusalem. He climbed up the hill and he spoke. Nobody says he was taken there in a helicopter. He went there, he stood there and he spoke. And it is so simple. So simple and so direct. Not the church, please. I am not talking about the church. I am talking about this great yogi called Jesus. If he was born in India, we would have made him an avatar. There he was. And somebody went to Swami Vivekananda and said, Christ is the Son of God. Swamiji said, well, if he was in India, he would be God. Why Son? So, why I am saying this is the inner reality which we seek was spoken by this great person when he said, lay treasures in your heart where thieves do not break in and steal. Lay treasures in your heart where no thief can get in and steal. This is something no one can steal because it's your being, the core of being. And he also said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So peace, love, compassion, affection, very necessary to develop in this field. Simply by breathing, it's my tradition, we will talk about that. But that's not enough, you know what I mean? The heart has to change, the mind has to change, and then you touch. And then you say, oh my God, everybody is God. Yeah, because you see this flame, it's burning inside. You may not see it, but it is also burning inside you. I see it, you don't see it, maybe. But then if I see it, then I... So, every living being we need to bow down to, because they are all manifestations of divinity. There is nothing out of that. So, when you discover this, the mind is finally at rest and in peace. And all the sadhana, all the practices that we do, sadhana, I hope you all understand sadhana, all the sadhana we do is basically to clear our mind and allow the inner to come forth, to shine forth. And the way we live. Why can I cause injury to you? Because you are also a temple of God. How can I cause injury to you? A yogi, a real yogi or a saint cannot cause injury to anybody, because how? I don't want to slap myself. So this is what I am trying to teach people. But there are many paths, as I said. There is a path which comes naturally to many people, but then it becomes sometimes only emotionalism, which is bhakti, devotion. Devotion is a great way of looking at finding this truth, because in devotion you expect nothing but to have an experience of God. This is a real devotion. Not, oh, I am devoted, please give me this, please give me that. That's a very cheap thing to do. If you ask, you will get it. But that's not what we should ask for. Ask for something bigger. If God wants to give, let Him give something bigger. Or God. In India, we also say God, Goddess, both are same. The Goddess is divinity with motherly form, with more affection, more love. And God as male is a practical God. You're not doing your kriya, give a shot on me. But the mother, oh, it doesn't matter, tomorrow you will do. So there are two ways of looking at it. So this is what, so there are many ways. Because the infinite is so infinite, so I don't have to say large. The infinite is infinite. So we can see only little bit of what we can see, and another person may see what they can see. But when your heart is open, you see the whole thing, and then you see that all are okay. Otherwise people say, if this is okay, how can that be okay? I say, yes, all are okay. Why? Because you see only that much. You know, there is this, have you heard of a great Sufi teacher called Jalaluddin Rumi, who wrote the Masnavi? And there people are the order of the whirling dervishes. If you go to Turkey, you see people wearing a cap and going like this, showing that the earth moves, everything moves. There's nothing that doesn't move. Is there anything? No, time moves. Nothing that doesn't move. So anyway, Rumi discovered something from the ancient Jain sources. In India, we have a religion called the Jains. It's as ancient as the Vedic religion, almost. They don't believe in a creator God, but they believe the soul is immortal and that it has to be freed from conditioning, which is nirvana. Anyway, so they had a beautiful story which Rumi took and adapted, and it's the story of three blind men who go to see an elephant. There's an elephant, unusual thing, standing there. Not unusual for me. I was telling Alina today morning, I have a place in the forest. Outside there are always elephants coming in trying to pluck things. You can't go outside in the evening. So an elephant was standing there, and three blind men went to see what an elephant is. Somebody said there is an elephant. So they said, oh, we go find out. So one of them went and touched the feet of the elephant. You know how the feet is big, like a trunk of a tree. He touched it. He's blind, okay? And he said, an elephant is like the trunk of a tree. It's very rough. And if you go too close, we are told that it might rest its foot on your head and you're dead. So this is one man's definition of an elephant, that it's like the trunk of a tree, because he touched the foot. The other man went and touched the trunk of the elephant. And he said, Elephant is like a rubber hose, big rubber hose, and it keeps moving all the time. And then it also makes sounds. Elephant, defined, like many of our scientists, defined. Then the other man went and touched the tail of the elephant. You know how the tail is like a broom, your bathroom brush. Like those days there were no bathroom brushes, but it's like a broom. So he touched and he said, an elephant is like a broom. It's big and it has sharp bristles and they move, and if you go too close you might get hit by. So they have defined the elephant, all three, their definitions. Now what happened next is the most interesting thing. There was a big fight. Somebody said this man said this is the definition of an elephant, the other guy said no, this is the definition, the third guy said yes, this is. It's like the cacophony, in the Tower of Babel. Hey, this is the. So they had a big fight. And it was so bad that it became physical, fisticuffs. One man was sitting on the other guy's chest. And what was the problem? Elephant is like this. No, it's not like this, it is like this. Like the fights among religions. So then, at that point, luckily, a person came who could see, who was not blind. He came and he told, what's going on? Why? Get up. First he said, you get up. Okay, sit here. What is the problem? Problem? Elephant is like this, elephant. He said, wait a minute. I can see, I'm not blind. So, he said to the first man, you're right. He told the second man, you're right. So second man, how can that be? If he is right, I'm wrong. He said, shut up, I'll tell you. You're right, you're also right. He said, how? He said, because elephant, what you touched of the elephant is what you're talking about. But the elephant is much bigger than you can touch. I can see it with my eyes. So a yogi or a saint or a holy man is somebody who has eyes, who can see, and for them they see that the whole is much bigger than any definitions we have. We cannot define, it's more than. So therefore Vedanta says you can't define the Supreme, because all words you use fall short. In fact, one of the Upanishads says, Vajana abhyutitam, that which words cannot describe. That is the true reality. The good news is, it's also our inner core. It's not far away that you cannot see it. Upanishad also says, Tad dure tad vatanti. It's far and it's so near. It's far because we think, oh, it's so vast. It's near because it is our own essential being. And it's not a thing, it's a being. Don't think it is a thing. It's not a material, like an object. It's the core of a being because of which all this body also operates. The brain is an excellent computer, I agree. Fully. Artificial intelligence, many things in the brain. But who is watching it? Who is operating it? Where is the consciousness in a computer? None. The consciousness that operates this computer is the spark of the divine in yourself. When you touch that, you can operate any computer. You're not confined to your body anymore. It becomes infinite. So, this is what we are seeking, and this is what we need to find. And there are many ways to do it.